Okay, so here's my Genesis e320 with the rotisserie setup that I got recently, and with the Rib-O-Lator installed. And as you can see, I put the rotisserie mounted a little bit differently. The normal hole that's here, I didn't use to line up. I had to drill another hole over to here so it would center properly, because I wanted to put I have a smoke box that goes in the back here, so it'll leave enough room for the smoke box. So as long as you center it properly, you'll be fine. And I didn't use the groove, the normal groove here. As you can see, I moved everything over to here and notched out. Originally I made a notch here, but I realized I needed to go just like another ½ inch out more. So then what I ended up having to do is on the cover, I ended up trimming the cover just a bit to make it all fit, and it closes, and it doesn't, you know, no smoke comes out or heat comes out, anything like that. So it works just fine. And then so that you can see the same over here. On this side, I didn't use the slot here or here. I just let it run on top, and I did make, originally I made a groove here, but I realized I needed to make, so I made a groove here with a Dremel. You just use a Dremel or a file. And I would go a little bit deeper, because it will ride out of that groove. And then same thing here. I trimmed it, the cover, so it would close. Okay. So this, I'll turn it on so you can see that there's clearance, and my flavorizer bars run left to right, front and back, with 3 burners. So what I do when I'm cooking, this the middle burner, I'll move this out of the way here. Let me turn it off. Okay, so this middle burner here, I'll cover. And what I'm going to do, these flavorizer bars are pretty old. I'm going to cut one of these flavorizer bars, and I'll just let the flavorizer bar sit on the burner here. This burner won't be on. I'll just have usually just either the front or back on low, and then that's about the right heat. So I cover this one, so because otherwise grease will go down and get into the small holes here, and we don't want to have that plug up. Okay. Here I'll take some measurements for you here. See, my grill width is what, 26 by 20 to the front, and then from the back there, where I notched out, made a notch, is what, right about 11 1/8 inch. And so then the same thing over here. So you can see where I set up the rotisserie right there, and the bolt holes to the back. Well, you got 10. The first bolt hole is 10, and then what, like 11.5 the second one. Well, you know, you space it out properly. Now the depth from where the flavorizer bar rests down here to the top looks like it's just a little shy of 8 inches, but 7 1/8 or so. So that kind of gives you an idea on yours. If you have the E330, it'll be a little bit different maybe. If you're deeper, then it's all the better. Then you might not even have to remove the flavorizer bar. Let's see what other measurements I can make for you here. I think that's really about it. Let me put this back in here. Like so. And as you can see, riding on the top here, it will, if you don't make this deep enough, it will ride out of the groove. So you do need to make the groove a little deep. But otherwise, as you can see, it fits, not a problem, and it's just right. It just makes it right there, so it's not a problem. So there you go. I hope that helps you out. Okay, one other measurement I might want to show you here is with the grill on. What I've got here. So to the top of the flavorizer bar. Okay, it looks like I'm about 2 1/8 of an inch from the flavorizer bar up to the grill. So that kind of gives you an idea of space-wise as well. So, and then from down to the burner, it looks like to the bottom of the grill, looks like about 5 1/4. Alright, here's another measurement. I took the racks off, but just to show from the spit down to the grate, down to where the grates sit, is 8 inches. Okay, so it's right at the 8-inch mark. Probably 7 7/8, because the 8-inch mark is just shown just almost to the top of it. And just so you know here too, I didn't center the spit on the grill because I put a smoker back here that fits in. It's a V-shaped smoker. It's shaped as a V here, and I would show it to you, but I can't find it right now. Probably a neighbor borrowed it or something. But so I put my smoker in here, so then I moved the rod back, so it's not necessarily centered in the grill. It's just enough, just to where it clears when the grates rotate. It just clears this front one, and then so my smoker sits back here, and it works out just perfectly, just enough room. And I believe that's why I ended up moving, because originally I had it here, but it was hitting the smoker a little bit, so I moved it out just a bit. So before you make your notches, just make sure if you have a smoker that it'll clear. And again, that's from the back. So the spit here is about 11 3/16. So that's how this is an E320 Genesis grill. One other thing I'll just mention is the rotisserie here. When you put it in, it doesn't sit. You see, it doesn't sit all the way down. So see, that's all the way down. So when you put the spit in, it lifts up a little bit. So you just insert it, lift it up, and it works fine. So it just rides up. It's not going to go anywhere. Okay. And there we have it. Okay, one other thing I wanted to point out is you don't have to worry about that notch in the top here being too deep, because when you close the lid, if you cut your top, the cover correctly, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to roll off.